Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 2. And today I'm going to be giving you part 2 of What If Naruto Got a Psychic Bloodline from Kurama. Remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual, share this to all of your friends in your social media platform, and also guys, don't forget to go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto had the 6-Eye Sharingan and enjoy that over on Anime King 3. I also post a brand new episode of What If Naruto Got Kurama Full Power in the Pain Art guys, so go ahead check out that and enjoy guys. And stay tuned for a brand new movie over Anime Prince, which I hope you guys will enjoy. And remember, if you're new, yes I indeed have 4 channels which I post What If on every single day for you guys to enjoy. Links will be down in the description, so go ahead check them out and enjoy. So without further ado or wasting more time, what do you say we jump into this brand new episode? Begin now guys. So the last spot we left off, Naruto had been on the road with Jiraiya for 6 years. Now he was finally back. Him and Sakura had just completed the test with their sensei, as they were now officially going to be on a team with their sensei, but no longer as his Genins, but they were going to be there fighting side by side with him, as the both of them had proven themselves quite well. However, as they were walking, there was a problem as villagers start to react to Naruto being back, those that did not like him. As Sakura heard the whispering, she glared at them, as Naruto wished that they could just feel what he felt. That was a bad thing to say, as the fox decided to make that a reality in a way. Naruto gripped his head as he felt pain, as Sakura asked him if he was okay. He told her that it was a fox messing with him. She realized that Naruto went on the whole training trip to try and control the fox power, so she shouldn't be worried if Naruto said that everything was going to be okay. They went to Ichiraku Ramen, as she saw a few people looking at Naruto as he came back out. She decided to invite him over, which she did, as they went to her place that she shared with Ino. Arriving there, they started to talk and they started to drink. Nothing alcoholic, as Sakura saw something in Naruto's eyes that she couldn't get away from, that reflection, as his eyes were showing off a silver reflection that it got her staring into his eyes like a gem. She couldn't help herself as she kissed him. Naruto kissed her back, as they went into a full-on makeout session. The both of them then proceeded to go to the bedroom. Sakura was shocked when she realized what happened the next morning. She was so caught up in her lust with Naruto. Her inner Sakura came back. Over the years the voice had diminished in her head, but now it came back as Sakura wanted just to go home and be with Naruto again. Ino was shocked when she saw Naruto came out of Sakura's room, as she couldn't believe it, Naruto of all people. However, as she was making her way, Sakura ended up passing out, as Tsunade came to the hospital. They weren't sure what was wrong with her, but she was not functioning properly. Her mind seemed to be fighting against something. They weren't sure if this was some kind of psychic attack or something, as they brought Inuichi there. It turns out that Sakura had slept with none other than Naruto. Tsunade was shocked when she found that out. She never expected that. The 6 years that she has been here, Sakura has only been one person that she went out on a few dates on, and that was Kiba. Ino was also surprised by that, because she made Kiba wait until months before the both of them went to the bedroom, and they didn't last that long in relationship wise. So for her to just be with Naruto that one night, Sakura was not like that. Something seemed off. Ino then started to feel a mental attack, and she quickly used her Yamanaka mind tricks to block it out. Arriving, she found that the perpetrator was none other than Naruto. She begged him to stop, but Naruto did not know what the hell was going on, or how to stop it, as Ino had no choice but to forcefully enter his mind. Her father had told her to never do that. When she was younger, she didn't know why, but she listened to her father. But she found out recently that it was the Nine Tails was the reason. But now, she was stuck in here, and the Nine Tails was hunting her. She expected the others to go and inform her father, but Naruto's psychic attack worked on everyone as he made them fight each other. Kiba and Shino and Hinata took down several civilians as Hinata accidentally hurt the guy's chakra pad so badly that he wouldn't be able to walk again. It was bad. Hinata was locked up for the time being until she decided to make her grand escape by attacking the guards, knocking them out with a rotation before she made her way. As for Ino, she was caught by none other than Nine Tails, which she proceeded to attack her mentally inside. Ino could not fight against his beast, but he would not kill her. He was having too much fun as she realized the Nine Tails was behind this psychic attack. It gave Naruto some sort of gift that it said, but it was most like a curse, as she was seeing everything now clearly. But the fox said that he wouldn't allow her to tell a single soul. As he made his move, as he grabbed her and pulled her inside, she clutched at the bars trying to escape, but she could not, as she was yanked inside. Meanwhile, Naruto was passed out in bed as Hinata was lying down right beside him. That is when someone arrived to the room. A few moments earlier, Sakura had woken up, but it wasn't the Sakura that we know. Somehow, inner Sakura was able to take control of her body, trapping Sakura inside of her own mind. As Sakura could not believe it, she was trapped as inner Sakura take control. Someone came to the room where Hinata was lying down with Naruto, as she quickly moved to the door. The moment the person stepped in, Hinata brought down her hand with tremendous force, striking the back of the person's neck, knocking them out. So yeah guys, basically that's what I thought. If you guys can switch across the place, check out for yourself. So let's begin this new episode, guys. Naruto Uzumaki woke up with a groan, as he had a splitting headache. He was surrounded by a familiar stench, and he was soaked as he sat in water. How did I wind up in here? And why does my head feel like it was used like a punching bag? Picking himself up, Naruto knew that he was in his mindscape as he arrived towards the fox cage. "Hello kid," the fox said. "I'm honored that you decided to grace us with your presence. I was getting bored." "Us?" said Naruto as he narrowed his gaze, as he heard something behind the cell bars. Ragged breathing, followed by a pain whimper. As Naruto stepped closer as he saw what looked like blood staining the water. However, the fox moved, hiding what he was keeping inside. "What's in there with you, Kyuubi?" said Naruto, as Naruto remembered the unsettling dreams that he had. "You should be proud of me, kid," the fox said. "I made a new friend while you were sleeping." One of its tail picked up the shadow form on the ground and brought it closer to the bars. Naruto's eyes widened in shock. The Kyuubi tail was wrapped around Ino Yamanaka's wrists as she was dangling, unmoving. Her green eyes were open, but they were glassy and dull. Her body was covered with her own hair and blood, as her hair was strewn out all around her, no longer kept up in the ponytail. Where she was not cut and bleeding, she was burned and covered with filth. Naruto could see that she was still breathing, but she looked like someone on death's door. "Ino," he yelled. "Kyuubi, what have you done?" He raged at the fox. "She invited herself in," the fox said, grinning at Naruto's reaction. "You were otherwise occupied, so I decided to be a good host, an entertainer." Why would Ino came in his mind? However, Naruto did not care as he moved towards the base of the seal. He did what Jiraiya showed him as he performed hand signs before bringing it down. He hit right on the seal. His chakra allowed wooden gates to come down right on the fox, slamming down right on top of it, pinning the beast down. As Naruto quickly ran in, he wrestled Ino out of his tail and quickly carried her to safety. The fox broke free of the weakened gates, as they weren't strong enough to hold him. Not these one at least. The fox glared before he huffed. "You can have her back. That chew toy stopped being fun hours ago." The screams were entertaining, but passing a threshold of pain, the mind started to shut down. And a toy that just lies still and whimper is not entertaining at all. Naruto shook with anger. "You'll pay for this, fox," he said. The fox bared its teeth in amusement. "And what are you gonna do, kid? Stick me in a cage?" As he proceeded to laugh. As Naruto ignored the fox as he started to look over Ino, he wasn't sure how to get someone out of his mind, and he was not an expert on Ino clan jutsu. However, he remembered one of Jiraiya Fuinjutsu lessons. Ino technique was chakra based, so maybe she would go back. If he disrupted the chakra of her jutsu, know that the fox was no longer trapping her. As Naruto grimaced as he made the pattern in, the blood on her face as he drew the chakra suppressing seal. As he pushed a bit of his chakra into it, Ino's form then wavered before it vanished. I really hope that worked. He wished that he could talk to Jiraiya or Ino that first, but if he did that, he would have to leave Ino alone with the fox again. As Naruto glanced up, his eyes filled with nothing but raw hatred. I'll find a way to make you pay for what you did. Oh, I'm shaking in my little fur boots. It's been fun and all, but I would like to take a nap after some light maiming, and you should make sure that you didn't destroy that pasty blonde's mind instead of sending it home. He rests his head on his paws before he closed his eyes. Naruto glared at the fox once again before he closed his eyes. As he disappeared out of the mindscape, the fox chuckled once Naruto was gone. You have no clue what is waiting for you, boy. As he could sense the power that he had just given Naruto was bearing fruit. You will get a taste of heaven, kid, before you truly experience hell. As he started to laugh darkly. Time skip. Naruto found himself in an unfamiliar bed, in a room he hasn't seen before. It was far more decorated than his apartment, however, it was a bit soulless. It was like a nice hotel room, but clearly, a part of a full apartment. As Naruto realized that he was not alone, Hinata sat at the end, as she brushed her long dark hair, as she was humming, a tune that he never heard before. Cautiously, Naruto sat up, wondering what was going on. When Hinata saw him move in the mirror, she set the brush down, as she turned to face him, as she was wearing a robe of silk that came down to her mid-thigh, as it was a V open in the front, showing the top part of her breasts. He's never seen her wear something so revealing, but she seemed comfortable in that she was smiling warmly at him. Her lavender eyes was dusted with a few silver glints that were reflecting softly by the room lamp. Even as Naruto noticed a change in her eyes, the thought of them being different slipped away out of his mind rather easily. Where are we? Said Naruto, as he tried to figure out what was going on here, because it felt like a setup to one of Jiraiya's perverted scenes in his books, but those things never happened in real life. This is one of the properties that my clan keep for members who want to get away from the family for a bit. You can guess why, when everyone have eyes that can see through walls. Naruto coughed. Just what the hell was going on? Was this Hinata? I brought you here after that mess in the market district, Hinata said. Why? Said Naruto. She moved closer until she basically stood over him, with her knees touching. Because I have to tell you something, and I want you to hear me. I love you, Naruto, she said. I've loved you since we were in the academy. When I was younger, I was too shy and afraid to say anything. I missed you so much when you were gone. I was a fool to let you leave like that. I was so happy when you came back. I'm not afraid anymore. I'm not afraid to say it. And I want to be yours, Naruto, she said. Naruto was taken aback, his jaw hung open wide as he heard her confession. He found himself remembering that Hinata had never been mean to him, not even once when he was a child. No matter what the adults had told her, she was never mean to him, never. He remembered all of her blushing smiles, all the time she was spying on him from behind the tree, all the time she fainted when he spoke to her, why her face always got red. You love me, said Naruto, his voice full of wonder. He knew that there was people that cared for him. Haruka the third, Kakashi, Sakura, his friends, among the Rookie 11. Jiraiya's natty, but out of all those people, none ever said that I loved you. And realizing that Hinata loved him when he was back in the academy before, everything that he's been through was quite a lot. Thinking back, Naruto realized that he cared for her too. He's been obsessed with Sakura for a long time, but he always felt like Hinata was one of the nicest people that he knew. Wow, Hinata, I don't know what to say, said Naruto. Say that you will give me a chance. Know that I say what I want to say. Let me have the opportunity to become as important to you as you are to me, she said. Hinata, you've been important to me for a long time, said Naruto. I should have realized sooner that you wanted more. How could you, she said. I never made it known. I never had the courage until you came back, and I saw you again. Don't, said Naruto. I like who you are, even when you're shy. Her smile was radiant. Thank you, Naruto, she said. But I think I'm done being shy. She leaned forward as she kissed him. A dozen different things ran through Naruta's mind, but the thing that stood out was that Hinata, lips taste like cinnamon. Sakura, lips had a fruity flavor, like cherries, but Hinata's was spicy and sweet. As she climbed onto the bed, sitting on his lap, as Naruta's eyes couldn't help but wonder, looking towards her bosom that was right into his face. Hinata, I want you, Naruto, she said, the promise in her voice making his stomach tighten. Do you want me? She asks. Oh God, yes, said Naruto, before he pulled her and deepened the kiss. As he found himself unable to control himself. For a guilty moment he thought about Sakura, but his mind told him that there had not been any promise between them. No talk of that night being anything more than it was. Sakura certainly had not confessed her love. Hinata then removed the sash that she was wearing, as she let it roll off her, dropping on the ground. There was nothing underneath, as Naruto's eyes could not move away from her chest. He has never seen something so magnificent even with years of peeping with Jiraiya. I'm so happy, she said. I dreamed of this, of you being my first. As Naruto looked up, your first? Are you sure about this? He asked. She took his hand and placed it right in her chest. I want this. Please, Naruto, she said, as she leaned on and kissed him. As Naruto realized that she was dead serious, and with the situation that he was in, he could not deny her. Time skip. Hideki Kobashi. He was 24 years old. He was a special jonin of the Hidden Stone. As he was awoken from his sleep by a light knock on his door, he instantly sat up as he had his hand around the kunai that was under his pillow. What is it? There's a leaf ninja outside the cliff entrance, sir. The voice of Madiki, Idea, one of the 5 chonins under his command. Hideki frowned as he rose to his feet. Why didn't you and Kazuma kill them and be done with? Kazuma Ryan was a kunoichi that was scheduled to sheer lookout with Madiki. The leaf ninja is not armed. Or are they trying to hide? You should just see it, sir. Hideki sighed as he ran a hand through his head. Today he was in charge of a 6-man cell of Hidden Stone ninjas, manning a outpost that was deep within Konoha territory. And there was a Konoha ninja outside their entrance of their small base. Buried in a cliffside, it was perfectly situated to spy on members going and coming back. As he followed the chonin through the tunnel, as Hideki could see the person waiting there. As she was wearing a white mask, he could tell it was a woman, though of medium height and not much more. The uniform was Konoha Anvu, so if it came down to a fight, it would take all 3 of them to kill her. However, she was not alone. Lying unconscious at her feet was a gag tied up kunoichi with pink hair, knee-length sandal boots and a pink skirt, and a red vest. What the hell, Hideki said. That's what I said Kazuma. Hey, you two watch my back. Consider that she's stronger than I am. But let's see what she wants first. As Hideki was the one to step out the other two, watching his back. Can we help you with something, he asked. The leaf Anvu laughed. Hideki was surprised by how young she sounded. Actually, I'm here to help you. Her accent was refined, like a noble daughter turned into a ninja. What makes you think I need your help? Hideki said, as his mind was actually racing. If one leaf ninja found their base, he had to assume that the others had found them as well. He had to get out. However, why was this one here? Why would they notify them? Well, as of 2 days ago, Konoha know about your little spidey hole here. Later today, a number of my colleagues will be here to raid it, so you'll want to be gone by then. The other 2 came out and flanked her, but she didn't even budge. As that worried Hideki, she was either incredibly powerful or she was a fool. However, fools does not wear Anvu masks. Okay, so why are you here? I brought you a present, she said. I imagine losing his spy hole and returning empty-handed will look pretty bad for you. So here's something that will probably get you rewarded instead. As she nudged a prisoner rolling a pink-haired girl onto her back. This is Sakura Haruno. She is the apprentice of the 5th Hokage, Nelly Senju. She's got a head full of classified information that your village will probably be interested in. And the only person in this world that know more about medical ninjutsu than her is Nelly herself. Hideki and his 2 members were shocked, but they did not try to show it on their face, trying their best to keep themselves calm. Why give her to us? Why not just kill her if you want her out of the way? The Konoha ninja shrugged. I see no reason to tell you that. The why does not matter. Take her, slit her throat. I don't care. If you do decide to take her though, Be careful. She possessed her teacher, super strength technique. She can fall a tree with a punch if you let her. A bird call could be heard above the trees. As Hideki resists the confident smile, as his other members were now here. So, what if I decide to take 2 Konoha ninja home? The Leaf Anvu laugh. That would be difficult to accomplish, because I'm not really here. Hideki's eyes narrowed as he threw a kunai towards her, with a flick of his wrist. She didn't even try to dodge as she poofed away once it hit. Leaf ninjas and your damn shadow clones, he muttered. What's the plan, boss? As the other one approached Sakura, making sure that she was out cold. Hideki sighed. We followed the nice Leaf Anvu suggestion. We're out of here in 15 minutes. Gather everything. What about the pink here? We're taking her with us. What if it's a trap? Hideki did not answer right away. Instead, he pulled out the Hidden Stone bingo book. As he found the new entries before he scanned it, he then tossed it. The tuning caught it. She is who our guest said she was. Hokage don't throw away their apprentice set a trap. They're too soft-hearted for that. This smelled like an internal disagreement in Konoha for me. We're just the bagman, and if that gets us a kunoichi that can train our medical ninjutsu members, well, I'm not complaining. Has Hideki felt the scar on his face? He had taken a rather nasty wound when he was a child, as the Hidden Stone doctors could not prevent the scarring. Konoha medics were said to be the best in the elemental nation because they were. Time's wasting. Move now, he said, as he picked Sakura up and followed his team inside. As he passed down to the supply room, as he saw members fixing explosive tags, as they were gonna blow the place. As he found what he was looking for, tranquilizer, powerful ones. As he injected her. Sorry, but if you're as strong as that woman, waking up would be rather bad for us. We'll get you back to the Hidden Stone safe and sound then. You can wake up, he said to the unconscious girl. He made sure to search her to confirm that she was unharmed. As he finished packing his stuff, whoever that kunoichi was, who handed her over, she just handed her into a rather unpleasant fate. However, it was his job. As he quickly moved, once they were out, they brought the place down. The explosion caused everything to cave in on itself, wiping away any evidence of them being here. Time skip. Hinata was lying next to Naruto as she listened to him breathe. She wanted this for so long, and yet it was beyond what her mind ever expected. She didn't know if sex was this good or if it was just because of him, but all night they felt like they were in sync. It was beyond words, and it made her confirm that she would do whatever it takes to have Naruto forever. An hour before dawn, she slipped out of bed. She didn't want to leave him, but there was a few things that she had to make sure was fixed from the fallout of the previous day. As she quickly write a quick note for Naruto and let it down, before she quickly moved off, the memories were still in her head of her shadow clone. She had gone really far to make sure that Naruto would be hers. I'm sorry, Sakura, but I love Naruto, and I will make him mine, she thought. She had done some things to make sure that Naruto would only focus on her, and one of those was to get the competition out of the way. It turns out that Sakura was the one that had opened the door, and Hinata had chopped her in the back of the neck, knocking her out. She had also smelled him on Sakura clothing. She was tempted to end Sakura's life right there and then, but she came up with a better plan. Teammate had located the spine Hidden Stone ninjas in their last mission. As she decided to hand Sakura over, Sakura would simply disappear, and Hinata wouldn't have her death on her conscience. Hinata slipped into the Haiga compound without notice as she entered her father's chambers like a ghost. Despite her entering silently, Hayashi's head came up. You've had a rather eventful day, daughter, he said. Assaulting civilians and escaping from Anvu lockup. Give me a reason not to hand you over to the Hokage, he said, turning towards her. Hinata sank to her knees in front of him as she bowed to her father. There's no reason you should, father, she said, as she looked him in the eyes without a hint of uncertainty. The Anvus have no right to hold me. I simply rectified the situation. Hayashi was silent for a long moment. As he finally spoke, Dear, I hope to think that my eldest daughter has finally started thinking and acting like a Hyuga, rather than a scared child, he said. Hinata did not react in the slightest. Surprising Hayashi, he expected her to look away, turn red, stammer, or denial. I see, Hayashi said. I will admit to say I'm surprised that you defeated 4 Anvus on your own. I did not believe that you had it in you. If it please you, father, I will strive to continue to surprise in you. Hayashi looked amused for a moment. Leaving aside the matter of the Anvu daughter, Assaulting civilians in broad daylight is poor form even if they're beneath us. That is not what happened. We came under some form of mental attack. Neither myself or my teammates have ever suffered from memory loss during battle, and the civilians lost control first and attacked us. I do remember that much. The Hokage knee-jerk reaction to the aftermath of the battle was meant to appease the civilian council members. I understand that she needed to do it, but I wasn't prepared to spend days in a cell while she hesitated. So, I saw myself out. Hinata knew that her father disdained the civilians on the village council and the Hokage rule as well. So it was an explanation that would satisfy him, as she saw the brief smile on his face before it returned back to his normal stoic look. I suppose then that you're here to ask me to deal with the arrest order the Hokage has placed on you. If it's not too much trouble, father, I will be grateful. I can't keep avoiding Anvu forever. Hayashi rose to his feet. I will see what I can do. Stay here in the compound for now. You will be safe from the Hokage dogs. As he came to a stop, I would be disappointed if this new confidence was a phase. I will not disappoint you, father, she said. And for the first time in my life, I believe that may be true, he said, as he left. Meanwhile, with Naruto, he finally awoke as the morning sun spread across his face as he was in the Hyuga getaway apartment. A lazy smile came across his face as he remembered the previous night. Hinata may have been inexperienced, but she was also eager, responsive, and even playful. Naruto was starting to understand why Jiraiya and so many other men that he knew chased down Kunoichis. Not only were most of them beautiful, but their stamina far surpassed that of any civilian woman. They just could not compare. As Naruto glanced, he realized that she was gone. He sighed. He was hoping to see her when he awoke, as he noticed it was a letter. Naruto, thank you. Last night was amazing. I am sorry I couldn't be here in the morning, but there was some family business I have to take care of. I hope to see you soon. Love, Hinata. P.S. Help yourself to the miso ramen in the kitchen. Is that still your favorite? Naruto's gloomy mood was instantly forgotten as he got to his feet. The good stuff, he said. I think I'm in love, he said, a bright smile on his face. Time skip. You've got to be joking, Tsunade said, as she got back from lunch to find Hayashi waiting for her. She barely got a hello in before the bombshell he dropped on her was said. I am quite serious, so I expect the arrest order on my daughter to be lifted. No, it will not. Hinata attacked civilians, and she broke out of prison before the investigation could be concluded. I have 4 Anvus in the hospital. I don't know what is going on with Hinata, but she's not above the law, even if she's your heir. In regard to this attack on civilians, members of my clan did investigation that your people apparently did not. They found multiple eyewitnesses that were willing to testify that whatever may have caused this, the civilians attacked my daughter and her team. They were forced to defend themselves. Obviously, it was some form of mental ninjutsu that we have not encountered before. But you had no cause to arrest my heir. Certainly not without consulting me first. That said, he leaned forward and dropped a stack of papers on her decks. Tsunade felt a twitch coming on as she picked up the papers and leaped through them. Every single one of them was a sworn statement of witnesses who said that ninjas were defending themselves. I recognize some of these names. These people have no memories of what happened during the riot. Well, I suppose their memories came back to them once they had time to reflect on it, Hayashi said. Feel free to talk to them again, I'm sure. Their stories will be quite clear. I'm sure Hyuga money and intimidation bought those stories. Tsunade thought to herself. She wasn't a fool. She recognized damage control when she saw it, but she could not accuse the head of the village's largest clan of fabricating evidence. And unless she hand over the false witnesses over towards Ibiki Marino, which she has no cause to do, she had no doubt that they would say the same story that Hayashi minions had told them to say. Fine. She still broke out of her cell and assaulted prison guards though. Yes, she did indeed. And I couldn't be prouder that my daughter is finally standing up for herself. If you admit that you had no cause to arrest Hinata, you can hardly complain that she decided to leave. Normally, I would be demanding reparations from the office for your gross insult to my clan. But since Hinata saw fit to deal with the matter herself, I'm content to leave it as it is. If you are, Hokage-sama. Hayashi's words were respectful, but his tone was not. Tsunade was tempted to knock his ass right through the wall, but Hayashi usually provoked that side of her when they talk, as she suppressed it as best she could. Alright, she said. Thank you for your time, Hokage-sama. I'm sure the arrest order will be lifted immediately. I'll send it out today, but you might want to encourage Hinata to stay on your clan compound until word make it out to the other patrols within the village. We wouldn't want any more misunderstandings, now would we? Of course not, said Hayashi. Good day, Hokage-sama, he said as he left. Once he was gone, Tsunade threw the stack of papers right into the wall. Arrogant prick, she said. Kakashi was not going to be happy about this as she sent the order to call it off, and also release Kiba and Shino, because Hayashi lit a stunt that cleared them as well. Time skip. Help me understand this, Inoichi. What is going on with our village? Tsunade Senju asked as she resists the urge to rest her head in her hands. There was just so much going on. Across the deck sat Inoichi Yamanaka as he looked tired and haggard. His daughter's condition had to be weighing on him greatly. Of everyone caught up in the market riot, Ino was the only one that has not recovered yet. She still remained in a coma. Her mind was gravely wounded. They knew what had happened to her. Naruto confirmed that she entered his mind. They did not understand why though. They would have to wait until she wakes up. I don't know. It's clearly some kind of attack, but emotional attack on this scale is something I'd never seen before. I could not replicate it if I tried, and I don't know of anyone in the nation that could do it. Scattered across the table were piles of incidents revolving around the second incident. This one occurred in the upscale residential district. In the late hours last night, hundreds of people had been consumed by an uncontrollable lust. There weren't many injuries, but there had been fallout. Those that were affected had been driven out of their own mind because there was a lot of regrettable sex that had happened. Most people that was awake at the time just started to copulate with the nearest partner beside them, and 90% of the people were asleep, and the other 10% they were awake. It seems like sleeping was able to fight off the mental assault, so imagine waking up to something like that going on. The village was just going into some strange chaos that they couldn't understand. Shizune came in the room. Tsunade could tell that something was wrong. Yes? Sakura. She's missing. She disappeared from her hospital between first and second check-in last night. Tsunade felt a chill. That wasn't like her apprentice. Naruto left without checking out either. She went with him? No, he hasn't seen her. She has not been to her apartment and her family has not talked to her. Before her collapse, two envoys that came in with Shizune as they were rather quiet. He finally spoke up, the one to the left. I don't know if this is related, but that outpost that we were supposed to raid collapsed last night. The rock ninjas collapsed their base and made a run for the border. They crossed before we could get word to the patrols, so they're in the wind. As Tsunade glanced towards Inoichi, he was thinking the same thing. Sakura was the first one to be affected by this confusing chain of incidents. I see what you're saying. Could all of this had been directed towards her, Inoichi said. Why would the hidden stone go through all this trouble for one Chunin, said Tsunade. You're underestimating Sakura-sensei, Shizune said. She's already been a better medical ninja than anyone they have, and she's been your apprentice for years now. Any one of the other villages would like to steal her even at the cost of unveiling their new weapon. Shit, said Tsunade. Okay, what's your bad news, she said, glancing towards the second envoy. Message from the Sun. Highest priority, their village has been attacked, and the Kazekage has been abducted by unknown adversaries. They're requesting our help. Lovely, Tsunade said in a sarcastic tone. The Akatsuki must be making their move. Jiraiya had briefed her on the interest of the Akatsuki. They were going after Jinchurik's Lagara, the current Kazekage. She would hope to have more time to deal with them, but it seems it was not to be. She wanted to focus on Sakura, but this was important too, as she pointed to the second messenger. Take a message to Kakashi. Tell him to turn out the hunter Nin and find Sakura. Start from her hospital room and determine if she was removed from the village somehow. Once that envoy departed, she turned towards the second one. Guide a sensor team out to that collapsed base. I want to know everything they can find from it. She then turned. Contact my guy. Tell him to round up Neji, Lee, and Tenten and have them report here. Send for Naruto and Kurama UI as well. That should form a powerful team, she believed, to deal with whatever was going on in the sand. She needed Kakashi here, she couldn't send him. For a mission like this, she also needed to send a medic. With Sakura missing and Ino in a coma, that left Shizune and Hinata as her combatable medics. Hinata did not take well to medical ninjutsu as Sakura or Ino, but she was competent. No, Hinata may not be upon charges, but she's still on my shit list, Tsunade thought. I'm not sending her anywhere until she earned back my trust. Shizune, you go with them in case the Kazekage is wounded when you find him. She didn't want to send Shizune, but it had to be done. Tell Aruka that he's picking up your duties here in the tower until you get back. Yes, Nezama, Shizune said, before departing. Time skip. Slow down, Naruto. As Naruto glanced behind him to the members. Gaara's in trouble, said Naruto. I have to help him. What Naruto really wanted to do first was go look for Sakura. She was missing, and he wanted to find her, but Tsunade was against it. He wasn't a tracker, so he would not be able to do anything there. Kurama frowned at him as she had told him to slow down. We share your concern, Naruto, but not everyone in this squad has your stamina. If half of the team is exhausted when the battle does happen, it may turn out in our defeat. We're not going to reach the sand territory today in any case. So slow down and pay attention to your allies, she said. You're not off on your own anymore, she told him. As Naruto was confused by the anxiety and irritation that he could see in Guy and Kurenai, Jonins usually kept their emotions under control. He glanced towards Neji and Lee. They were also tense as well, while Tenten and Shizune just looked tired. As Naruto slowed down and let them set the pace. She was right, whoever took out Gaara had to be strong, and he would need allies to stop them. As he started to relax, the more relaxed Naruto got, the others started to gradually relax as well. They were still in the forest when the sun set as Guy called them up. We've made good time today, he said. We'll make camp for the night and tomorrow we shall reach our allies. As Naruto produced clones that helped quickly set up the camp as Lee and Guy went to get some firewood and water while the others quickly prepare a meal. After dinner, Guy rose as he stretched. I'm going to scout ahead for a bit. You should all get some rest. As he departed, as the others exchanged a glance. I'm going to go and find that hot spring that we saw before we made camp and take a soak, said Kurenai. As she glanced towards Shizune and Tenten. Sure, Shizune said. Okay, said Tenten. I could use a hot bath after the pace that Naruto set today. As the three of them paused as Kurenai gave them a threatening look. I know I won't catch anyone else, especially any student of Jiraiya, near the spring while we're bathing because I know some really fun genjutsus that will even work on peeping Byakugan. As she sauntered off with a grin, Shizune and Tenten trailing behind. In the following silence, Lee, Naruto and Neji exchanged a look. I'm going to bed, said Neji. Me too, said Lee. As Lee disappeared in his tent, Neji glanced towards Naruto as he did not speak or budge. Granted, he had not seen the man for 6 years. However, the gleam in his eyes seemed rather familiar. He decided that he should save him from any further problems, so he spoke up. Kurenai UI is well versed in demonic illusion, including the hell viewing technique. Shizune Kato is more than well able to dose you some poisons that will make the next few days rather unpleasant. Tenten is incredibly accurate with throwing weapons, and she knows exactly where to throw to make the most painful but non-lethal wounds. And none of them are easily taken by surprise. I'm just giving you a fair warning. As Naruto put on a rather innocent face that would have made his sensei proud. Neji, I would never dream of doing something as low and crude as peeping on our lovely comrades as they bathe. I am wounded by your suggestion. Neji gave Naruto a level look before he disappeared into his own tent, as Naruto gave him a moment to settle down before substituting one of his clones' garden area. As if I can just go to bed after that, Naruto thought, as he made his way. Kurenai had just thrown down a gauntlet in front of him. She made a threat, as it was a challenge. Him, the apprentice of none other than Jiraiya. Jiraiya of the Sun in the world super pervert. Now he was obligated to peep on them, and do so without getting caught. His pride would not allow any less. Fortunately, 6 years under Jiraiya teachings had teach him how to peep on ladies' bath without getting caught. And that is exactly what he intended to do. Time skip. Hinata was fuming as she ran through the forest. It wasn't enough that the Hokage had subjected her to be incarcerated, but even after her father made sure that she was now free, the Hokage still had a grudge. There was no other possible reason why she did not send Hinata to accompany Naruto to the Hidden Sand. They belonged together. Even a woman as dense as the Hokage had to see that, but the evidence was there for itself. Tsunade had sent her own assistant as a squad medic, even though Hinata was more than capable as a field medic, and she was a better fighter than Shizune. For a moment her thought ran into her long respect for Tsunade Senju, but when it comes to the man that she loved, it was nothing but a speed bump in her path. The Hokage was simply being foolish or jealous, and Hinata could not let that keep her away from her Naruto. Fortunately, her clan information network was right on time, as she had learned about the departure after an hour. Also, as a Hyuga heir, she also had more freedom of movement out of the village than other ninjas. The unhappy look on the face of the Chunins that guard the gates confirmed what Hinata was thinking. The Hokage wanted to sideline her. However, Hinata picked up a piece of clan business that was gonna lead her to the land of Wayne. Near the hidden sand, so well, she couldn't be stopped anyway. It was clan business. Hayashi was more than happy enough to help her leave Konoha, as he saw that she was being more assertive, and that was something that he liked. Hinata did not care what her father thought her motives were. If her actions made him happy, all the better. It would make him more susceptible to give her his blessing when she told him that she would be marrying Naruto. First though, she had to make Naruto aware of that, and she couldn't do it if he was sent away from her. She's been a member of a tracking squad for 6 years. Even without the Byakugan, she could trace the path that they went. She finally arrived as her Byakugan activated. She saw the clones as they were lookouts. That is when she noticed something. All the Kunoichis went to the bathhouse that was nearby, and her Naruto was trying to peep on them. She considered that for a moment. She knew her Naruto would never stray from her after her declaration of love, but she supposed she had to make allowances for him being young, male, and a student of the great legendary pervert. Still, she needed to make sure that he had eyes only for her. If her Naruto was going to think of this night in the future, it will be thought about her. As a smile came to her face, she had an idea. Meanwhile, Naruto had to hand it to Kurenai, Shizune, and Tenten. The two Jonins really know their stuff, and Tenten had become a lot more skilled in the past 6 years. After dodging the 4th trap, Naruto was impressed with Tenten's talents. No two traps were the same, but all of them would have caused loud noises and stabbing, things that he would not want to be stabbed. Someone had dusted a leaf with a paralytic, as he figured that it was Shizune. Years ago, Naruto never knew anything about Genjutsu trap. However, he was a lot more smarter now. Jiraiya was a master of detecting and avoiding traps, especially Genjutsu kind, as he passed that knowledge on to his pupil. The traps slowed him down, but they did not stop him. Kurenai, who Naruto gets to be in her mid-30s, was a vision of beauty and full bloom. Shizune was the same age but far more shorter than Kurenai. Slender hips, her bust less impressive but perfectly formed, as he remembered being held against those firm hugs and when he was carried away from the field when the Battle of the Sonyans was happening, as he was too young back then to really appreciate what he was actually experiencing, but he needed to get one of those hugs once again, to feel if they were as soft as they look. Tenten's body was really toned, her smooth skin ruled over trickly muscle, showing that guy had been putting them to work. Her chest did not compare to her seniors, but like his master, Naruto appreciated all forms of the female body. As Naruto suppressed the urge to giggle, as Naruto pulled out a notebook, like Jiraiya, he taken to write down certain notes to keep these memories fresh. As Naruto froze, he was no longer alone. He hid his book rather quickly, had one of the Kunoichis set clones on guard. Are you enjoying the view, Naruto? The female voice was sultry and dangerous, but it did not come from any one of those three. Hinata? Naruto said in disbelief and a little bit of fear. Peeping was innocent, of course, he would never do anything but look. However, did she know that? Of course, lover, she said as she pressed her bosom against his back. Naruto twitched as he felt her lick his ear. Her arms wrapped around him as her fingers started to trail on his chest. She didn't seem mad at him, but there was a problem. Watching the three girls had already started to make him react in certain ways, and now with Hinata over him like this. What brings you all the way out here, said Naruto. I have some clan business to take care of all the way in the sand, and I was traveling, so what did you think I saw when I set up camp and my Byakugan spied on my naughty boyfriend being bad? Spying and peeping on his squad mates, as her hand went into his pants to show him that yes, he was viewing on the ladies. I guess you are enjoying the view, she said as she bit his earlobe. As Naruto swallowed thickly, Hinata, Shh. I know you're not that kind of guy, she said. You wouldn't stray away from me now, would you, Naruto-kun, she said. No, of course not, said Naruto. A part of him was slightly afraid that she might do something with that grip of hers, but another part of him was insanely aroused by what she was doing. I know that this is just the influence of that pervert that the Hokage sent you off to train with, because my Naruto is not a pervert peeker, is he? Of course not, Hinata, said Naruto. I never want to peep on bats, honest. Eroseni made me do it, said Naruto. This was a good time to not make Hinata angry. After all, she could cause him a terrible amount of pain. Good boy, she said, as she began to tease him some more. Hinata did not see that as Naruto's eyes became silver, awakening the dojutsu that the Kyuubi gave Naruto. However, even if Hinata had saw it, she wasn't going to understand what it was or able to realize what she was seeing. It was invisible and undetectable. However, the problem was the pressure. What Hinata was doing to Naruto, making him act this way, it was reflecting not only on him or her, but everyone around them. Guy was too far away to be affected by the emotion spreading out. Lee and Neji was already asleep, so they weren't affected by it. However, the arousal that Hinata was putting Naruto through caused the girls down below to be affected. Both Hinata and Naruto were surprised to what they saw. As Shizune offered to wash Kurena's hair, when she shifted closer to the woman, she then dipped her head as she kissed her in the neck. Kurena stiffened, but she did not pull away. Her eyes sparkled with amusement. "And what was that, Kato?" she asked. Shizune looked like an innocent puppy cat. "I don't know," she said. "What do you want it to be, Yuhai?" Kurena turned as she examined Shizune before she lifted her chin. "How you were able to keep that innocent about you, even after years of traveling with Tsunade through gambling dens and red light districts, I will never understand. After all, I know how depraved you were even before you left." As Kurena leaned forward and kissed her right on the lips, Tenten was shocked as she stood there in silence. "That's slander," said Shizune as she deepened the kiss. "Oh really? Uzumaki think that he's the prank king of Konoha, but he always got caught. Did the Shinobi Academy female instructors ever find out who the most prolific panty thief was in history?" As Shizune grinned, most of them still think that Asuma Sarutobi is a culprit. After all, they remember what a pervert Hiruzen was in his prime, so they thought his son was a natural culprit. "I told Rashina Sensei the truth a few years back, but I was modeling for her in few of the pieces back then, so she forgave me." At this point, Tenten was beet red as she ended up yeeping as the both of them turned towards her. "It occurs to me, Kido, that between my guys as Sensei and a civilian family, Tenten here probably hasn't had her Lotus initiation yet." "Lotus initiation? Is that some kind of taijutsu thing?" asked Tenten, as she was feeling an unsettling warmth in her stomach, seeing the two girls in front of her. "Oh, this won't do at all. It seems someone has been neglecting your duties, Yuhai." "You're right, Kato, it seems. It's up to us to fix that." Tenten hesitated as the two kunoichis slowly approached her. "The Lotus. Learning experience can be a one-time thing, or a new way of life," Kurena said. "But it's something most kunoichi do eventually." "Oh, what is it?" Tenten asked. "Finding out how much fun kunoichis can have with one another," Shizune said. Tenten was cut off as Shizune lifted her chin and planted a kiss on her lip. "It's your choice, of course. We can stop if you want," Kurena whispered in her ear. Tenten looked back and forth between them. Well, Shizune said as she kissed her on her neck. "That did not sound like a stop to me." As Naruto was still watching the whole thing, Hinata roaming around him. "I remember my Lotus initiation," she said. Of course, that was a lot different from this. As Naruto froze as he thought about Hinata in Tenten place. "I almost didn't have one," Hinata said. "It's supposed to be a secret between kunoichis, but my father knew about the practice and privately threatened the weight of the personal discretion on any Konoha kunoichi that initiated me or Hanabi. He thinks it's a degenerate tradition, and that these daughters would never be sent on a mission where they will have to pleasure other women anyways." "Then how?" said Naruto. "She said that she almost didn't have it, that meant it still happened. Uncle Midarashi heard about my father's threat, and she decided to go against it just to piss him off. It was about a year ago. She invited me out for drinks and slipped something into mine. I woke up naked and I was tied to her bed. It was an enlightening experience." Hinata's voice was light and dreamy as she recalled the tale. "I don't remember everything, but I do remember begging. I'm not sure if I was begging her to stop, or to not stop. When I made it home a few days later, father saw the rope burns and he went ballistic, but I think he's a bit afraid of uncle because he never did anything about it." As Naruto started to drool, Hinata as he wasn't sure how much he could take, as Hinata came right in front of him. Through it all of that, she was able to strip everything off, completely naked in front of him. As Naruto lost himself in lust, "I'm in heaven," he thought to himself. Time skip. What the hell? Inner Sakura thought as her recently hijacked body gained consciousness. She felt groggy, ill, and nauseous, and her head was ringing with a splitting headache. Her shoulders and jaw ached from being forced into an unnatural position, with a gag in her mouth tasting horrible. Her wrists were bound. You got sucker punched and kidnapped. Genius. The real Sakura Haruna said from inner mindscape. Do you have any idea how hard it was to purge the tranquilizers from in here in our blood? Never mind, just don't move. We're not alone. I'm touched, Sakura. I didn't know that you cared, Inner Sakura said. As she was in some kind of tent, she could hear the rain drumming on cloth. Don't flatter yourself, you bitch. This is my body, and I don't want to be a prisoner. When I find out how to evict you, Sakura shot back. Yeah, cry me a river, Inner said. Cracking an eye open, there was a kunoichi there, with black hair. When the other turned her head to look at her, Inner Sakura closed her eye quickly, and kept her breathing slow and leveled, as she slowly started to trail chakra down her arm. As she started slowly, pushed out the rope to make some room for her wrists, as a weak point in the rope finally parted. It seems like the kunoichi noticed something, as she came over and started to scrutinize the unconscious Sakura. Come on, one more lightning strike, Inner said. Oh, I see. You're going to use a thunderclap to cover the noise when you knock her out, Sakura said. Yeah, something like that, said Inner. A flash of light as Inner snapped. Her silver jaded eyes opened. The hidden stone kunoichi froze in alarm when their eyes met, but she was too close. Inner grabbed her by the face before pulling her fist back and drive it straight through the woman's chest. The look of shock only lasted a few seconds before the light faded away from her eyes, as Inner yanked her arm out of the hole that she punched, straight through her sternum. She was vaguely aware of Sakura, throwing up in her cage. You killed her. And you used my hand to grope Sakura, Inner said. That was a lot kinder than what they would do to us in the hidden stone, as she wiped the blood and gore off her arm on the woman's clothing before she peeped out the tent. In the pounding rage, she had no idea of how many more captors surrounded her. It could not be many because the camp was small with only a handful of tents. She could see two more under a small hut, as they were keeping a fire lit. Another one sleeping in another tent. As she transformed into the woman before she stepped out in the rain, the pair immediately spotted her that were messing with the fire. What are you doing, Kazumai? Hideki said not to leave the leaf bitch alone. Inner did not know the woman's voice, so she could not emulate it, as there was a pair of kunais in her sleeve as she moved. She spat on the ground. It seemed that her body language was the right thing to do. This woman was probably a bitch, and she fit that perfectly. However, the second one was still looking at her strangely. As she stepped closer, there was a flash of lightning. She quickly pulled the kunai and drove it right into his face, burying it through his skull. She then turned and slammed the other one right into the other one's neck. As he gurgled out in pain, Inner cursed as she pulled out the one detonating tag that the woman had and threw it right into the tent where the sleeping one was. She then sprinted off in the trees as the explosion tore the camp apart behind her, as she quickly leaped up in the trees. 2 jumps later, and another stone ninja, this one young, about 14 years old. He tried to scrape her with his kunai as he was trying to slow her down, but he didn't have the practice of tree jumping like any Konoha ninja had, as she was able to twist and he wasn't able to keep up as he scraped her leg, nothing more. She turned as she brought her heel around. The amount of force that she sent in her leg caused his body to send sailing like a missile as his head splashed against a tree branch with tremendous force, breaking through it and slamming into another one, where his body dropped limp. She then quickly moved off as fast as she could, as the others were alerted, and they were coming. But guys, if you end up right here, if you want to see the next part, do like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. But I'm off and I'll see you guys soon. Peace.